Daryl Anka channels Bashar. Esther Hicks channels Abraham. Sheila channels Theo. Who do you channel? Or have you even thought about that? You see, I think we all channel. We all channel God's spirit universe in some fashion. Have you ever prayed? Have you ever followed an intuitive thought? Because all of that is a way of channeling when you think about it. Channeling for me is simply tapping into God's spirit universe. That's my phrase for infinite intelligence, source energy. You can call it anything you want, but we are connected by one source, by one collective consciousness, and we're all connected to it. Even if you believe in it or not, it's there. I mean, how can you look at this beautiful world, living in these amazing bodies that are such miracles, and not believe in source energy? Well, physics has proved it, so we know it's true. But today, I want to talk to you about the amazing work that I've been able to manifest and how I help other people. You see, I always haven't had the ability to not channel, but do the energy work that I do. You see, you have to be open to it. There was a time when Esther did not channel Abraham, even though she's been doing it for probably 30 years now. But there was a time when she was not aware. It doesn't mean that Abraham wasn't there. And there was a time when Daryl Anka did not channel Bashar, even though he's been doing that for 40 years. But there was a time when he didn't know that he could communicate with an extraterrestrial being just a few years ago, that I didn't even meditate. I didn't even start meditating till 2018. And then I started studying, and that's when I fell in love with the whole idea of the secret and the law of attraction and manifesting. And I knew as I went forward reading and researching that I was going to be able to apply it into my life. You see, there's a lot of law of attraction teachers out there, but it's really about not just understanding the law of attraction. Anybody can understand that like attracts like. It's like you don't have to study gravity. You don't have to study the law of attraction. You have to know how to use it. You have to know how to apply it in your life. And you have to understand that everything's energy. And with that, you have to understand that you are source energy and you have access to source energy and you are a spiritual being having this temporary physical experience. So there's different layers of understanding that goes through this process of understanding the law of attraction. But I was in love with it right away, and I studied, and I really loved having Bob Proctor as a mentor. I just wanted to listen to him day in and day out and not do anything else until I figured it out. And I did. And then it was all about teaching other people. How can I teach other people that they have this power within them, that they can have whatever they want, and that you can live in joy and be grateful for everything that you have, and just relish every minute of being in this physical body, because I think that's what it's all about. And I started teaching these workshops in 2019, and then I wasn't doing any energy work though back then. That's so funny to think back because it wasn't that long ago. And in 2020, we all had a very interesting year. For me, it was a very positive, uplifting year amidst everything that was going on. Because for me, that was the year that I really started to wake up spiritually. Even though I knew the law of attraction, was studying it, teaching it, but this took on a whole nother level. There were 4 different things that occurred in 2020 that I believe really opened me up to understanding energy and being able to tap in to source energy easily. And so the couple of things happened. One, on March 12th, 2020, I was out surfing and a stand-up paddleboarder fell backwards on a wave, launching his board smack into my head, straight in between my eyes, giving me a nice cut here, down to the bone, requiring 8 stitches. But with that, it was startling, right? Because there's blood everywhere. I was knocked off my board. But in that moment, and the person never apologized. That was part of it as well. But when I got myself to the urgent care, got out of my wetsuit, and as I was sitting there, I realized something important. I had to forgive this person right away, even though I was in tons of pain. And then they gave me like an Aleve, something like that. And I tell you what, as soon as I forgave him, I never, past that point, had any pain with this cut on my head. And that was something that really, when I got home that day, I was like, what's going on? I felt like everything around me had changed. I felt like my energy had changed. I called up a friend. I'm like, the sky is bluer. The trees are greener. Like, what's going on? And she was intuitive. She knew that something had happened. Like, this accident happened for a reason. It literally knocked me off my board, but it also knocked me open. Then something happened on Memorial Day 2020. So that was March 12th, Memorial Day. It was a very emotional day. My father was on his deathbed and he was out from morphine and he was needing to let go. My father was a World War II veteran. He did not want to let go. He was a fighter well into his 90s. Like, he loved life. Talk about following your passion and your excitement and taking it as far as it'll take you. That was my dad. He was all about sports and baseball and loved that life. And he didn't want to let go. So on Memorial Day 2020, even though my dad was not aware on a physical level, I had to tell him very strongly that he needed to let go. That he needed to let go of this physical body, that he was very much loved, that he had done his work, that he was a good father, and that he needed to let go. And I had to do it very, very loudly and very strongly for him to be able to listen. And he did. He passed away later that evening, before midnight. So it was still Memorial Day. He was very patriotic. So that was the second thing that happened. The next thing that happened was September 14th. On September 14th, our beloved cabin burned down. We had a cabin in the Sequoia National Forest. It had been built in the 1940s. It was an original logging cabin. It was gorgeous. We loved it. And we lost 52 homes in the national park that day in our neighborhood. And it was horrible. All of our, everything. We had been there for over 10 years. Every room was filled. The garage was filled. And everything was lost. It actually burned to the ground, where there was just maybe some pieces of metal left. And that was it. And on that evening, my husband and I decided. We said, you know what? We can grieve or we can look forward. So right away, we had our little pity party for a minute. But then it was like, no, we're going to move forward. We have insurance. It's okay. And that was our attitude. So that was another thing that happened. But for each one of these things that happened, it felt like it opened me up to more allowing, to more energetic allowing, for me becoming more of the person that I was supposed to be, my authentic self. And then the final thing that happened in 2020 was that my husband and I both got the virus. And it wasn't fun, but we also took that in stride and dealt with it, right? But I felt like after that, I know a lot of people felt like it really got them down. I felt like also having it, I felt like it brought out more energy, again, opened me up. So that was my 2020, but there was also something very interesting that happened on October 27th, 2020. So this was after the cabin burned down, and I was working on a workshop, a course that I was offering all about learning about how to manifest. And on this morning of October 27th, I was asleep and I heard these words, allow life to happen. And I woke up and I was like, what's going on here? And then later that morning in my meditation time, I was like, okay, what is it? Like, do tell, what does that mean? And the message was very clear that that was going to be the title of a book that I was going to write. So I said, okay, great, but I don't have any plans to write a book, but I'll write it down that's what that means. And I did. And I felt like by the end of the year, yes, I had been through all of these things, but they weren't, even though they might have been negative occurrences, I decided to take them with stride. I decided to look at the positive aspects, and every time I did that, my energy rose. And again, I felt like I was opening myself up to my energetic self. I was able to tap into God's spirit universe more easily. So with that, I decided to launch my course in 2021. So I was doing some networking and different things, and I met this woman in a networking event. Very nice woman. She was a business coach. She was originally from France, and she had a very thick, beautiful accent. And we were like, hey, let's have a one-on-one. She lived out of state. So we did. We had a networking call, and we're talking, and she's saying some things, and she called herself a psychic with an MBA. And I said, I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes, but whatever you're doing and however you're able to say these things to me, like, I want to know how you do what you do. Because I knew she was doing something. I didn't know how she knew certain things about me. I didn't want to become a psychic, but I just had this sense that she was doing something and I had to learn. So I asked her. And she didn't normally teach her energy work, which she had been doing for over 20 years. Because, people ask me all the time, oh, Beth, what do you do? Is it Reiki? And my typical answer is, no, it's not Reiki. It's Reiki on steroids. Because that's my personal opinion. I've studied Reiki. There are many different types of modalities, but this woman, Natalie from France, had been studying and doing energy work for over 2 decades and had studied many different modalities and put them together into one that she called Success Activation System. And so she did. She taught me and a couple other people. This was just kind of a one-time deal. And she taught us, and right away, I knew I can do this. I can do this. And ever since then, I've been refining my process, and I've been discovering these amazing things that I'm able to do now, knowing that my gift really is being able to help people reprogram their soul's contract. It's one of the things that I do, but it's one of the things that brings people so much clarity and solves so many problems that they're having. For example, if someone is in a difficult relationship or they're getting a divorce, and maybe they came into this physical body because they wanted to experience being a victim. We don't know why our soul decided to come here. We have this gift of forgetting. So we don't remember why we came here. At least most of us don't. There are some that do. But most of us don't remember this contract that we had when we came into this physical body. Once we can identify that contract, and if you decide that you're done with this contract, like, I don't want to be learning this lesson anymore, I don't want to be a victim anymore, I don't want to be ill anymore, whatever it is, then we can release that soul contract. You get to choose now in the physical body what it is that you want to learn. So that's one of the things that I do. So Natalie trained me, that was in 2021. And again, I've been refining it for 3 years. So what I do is I'm able to tap in to my higher self. So you call it your higher self, higher being, inner being, higher mind. It's that connection, that part of us, our soul, but that part of us that never leaves us, that is always with us, that knows everything. that is connected to God's spirit universe. And recently, even more recently, been calling it the higher mind. That's what Bashar calls it, and I love that. Higher mind, source energy, God's spirit universe. I can tap it pretty easily. It takes me about 3 breaths. So I can tap in. Is it channeling? No. Is it channeling? Yes. Could be. But I don't channel entities. I don't channel ETs. I simply connect. And then I'm able to connect with the other person that I'm working with. I'm able to connect with their higher self, their soul. And through the process, we first determine an issue. Whatever it is that they're wanting to work on, I make sure that that is actually the issue. Sometimes it's something else that they're not aware of. And I do work on the soul level and on the subconscious level. So I use a pendulum and I use charts. So I'll show it to you. I'll go through my charts, determine the issue, release negative energies, activate positive energies. I love clearing relationships. That's so much fun and so easy to do. I see if there's any programs, any archetypes that need to be worked with, if there's any interferences. Sometimes actually people come to me and they think, do I have a curse? Like they really think they do, and they might. And we can release that. Again, the archetypes, applying healing treatments, and then that's usually the first session. And then if someone also has physical things that they want to work on, then we can do that in a secondary session. But usually, if it's something that's emotional, we get to it in one session and boom, it's done. Like I want to be a problem solver, and I like to be quick and effective and get the job done. So that's what I love to do. And it's wonderful work. I love being able to help people in this way. And then the hypnotherapy is great because I love to follow up with a guided meditation to really solidify in someone's subconscious mind what they are needing, whether they're wanting more confidence or more clarity about making decisions in their life, or if they want peace, they want to feel more calm, they don't want to be so anxious. Like we can give that message to the subconscious, and we can give you an anchor so that you can go back to that anytime that you want to. So with all of this work, it's so much fun to be able to work with people one-on-one. Is it channeling? It's connecting. It's connecting to who we really are. And I believe that we all can do it. We all have the ability. And I'm here to teach the law of attraction as well, because I want people not just to resolve their issue that they might be having, but I want people to live a life that they actually love. Like being in joy every moment. Why not? Why be in a state of struggle? Why be depressed? Why be sad? Why be unhappy? Go after your dreams. Live your life on your terms. What is it that you really want? What is it that you really want to do? Because you can be, do, or have anything. So get out there, go do it. Think you might need some energy work or hypnotherapy? Great. I give free sessions, like free consultations, so that we can see what it is you need. Maybe you just need some recommendations, some things that I can suggest that you can do on your own. Maybe you do need an energy session with me. I don't know until we talk, but we can have a consultation. I'll spend time with you and really listen to what's going on with you in your life and see if I can help. That's my life's calling. That's my purpose. That's my destiny, to be here, to be of service. So with that, I want to end with a quote from Abraham Hicks. I love these quotes. Everything exists for joy. There is not one other reason for life than joy. We've got nothing to prove to anyone because nobody other than all that is watching. In other words, we're not trying to get brownie points from some other galaxy. We're not trying to get someplace else. We're not trying to get it done because there's no ending. We cannot get it done. Everything exists for the purpose of joy in the moment. So if you are not experiencing this joy in the moment, give me a call. Let's have a consultation and let me help you discover your true, authentic self, your purpose, your passion, your reason for being. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.